The human woke up to the same ceiling once again. It was high, curved, and made of some smooth alien stone that shimmered faintly in the dim light. He blinked, confused as always. His heart pounded as he tried to recall where he was. Who he was. But the memories of the night before slipped through his fingers like water dot. Beside the bed, in the same chair she always used, the alien woman sat watching him. Her silver eyes caught the weak glow from the wall, and her face was unreadable. She was beautiful, haunting, with skin so pale it looked carved from moonlight. Her long hair framed her face like a shadowy curtain. "You are awake again," she said softly. Her voice always calmed him. But it also made him uneasy because it carried weight. A hidden sadness. He sat up slowly. His body felt heavy, as if he had been through a storm. He noticed faint marks on his arms, thin red lines, almost like scratches. He rubbed them, confused. What happened last night? She looked away. She always did. You need rest. That is all. He frowned. I feel like I forget something every morning. It's like there's a hole in my head. For a moment, she said nothing. Then her eyes returned to him, sharp and steady. Forgetfulness protects you, human. Do not search for what is hidden. You would not like what you find. Her words made him shiver. He wanted to ask more, but her gaze was so piercing that he swallowed his questions. He had lived in this room for so long, 15 years, she told him. But he had no memory of 15 years. To him, every day felt like the first. The room itself was strange. On one wall were faint carvings, alien runes that sometimes glowed at night. He had seen them flicker before he fell asleep, but never when he woke up. There was a small table, with objects he didn't understand, bowls of strange silver liquid, a dagger with a curved blade, and black candles that never seemed to melt. Sometimes he felt like he was living in a prison. Sometimes it felt like a sanctuary. He didn't know which was the truth. Why am I here? He asked again, the same question he asked every morning. And like every morning, she replied with the same calm answer. Because without me, you would not live another day. Her answer gave no comfort. It only raised more questions. But every time he tried to push her, she would only grow silent. That night, as darkness fell, he noticed her moving quietly around the room. She lit the black candles, her fingers tracing the strange carvings on the wall. The symbols began to shimmer faintly, casting eerie shadows. He pretended to sleep, but his eyes stayed half open. She leaned over him. Her face was so close he could feel her breath. Her silver eyes softened, and for a moment, she looked less like a guardian and more like a woman with a secret desire. Her lips moved, whispering words he could not understand. It sounded like a prayer, or maybe a spell. He felt his body growing heavy, his eyelids forcing shut. But before he lost consciousness, he caught her last whisper. Another night forgotten. Forgive me, human. The next morning, he woke again. To the same ceiling, the same chair, the same alien woman watching him. He sat up quickly, his chest tight with unease. The marks on his arms were deeper now, almost like someone had held him down. His head ached. What did you do to me last night? He asked, voice sharp. Her face did not change. Nothing you need to remember. He stood from the bed, angry this time. Enough, you've kept me here for 15 years, you say, but I don't remember any of it. Why? What are you hiding from me? Her calm expression cracked. For the first time, he saw her eyes glisten, as if tears were threatening. She whispered, almost too quietly for him to hear. If you remembered, you would never look at me the same way again. The words cut through him like a blade. His anger froze, replaced with a deep chill in his bones. She rose from her chair, her long dark hair falling across her face. Do not ask again. Some truths destroy what they touch. Rest now, human, because tonight the forgetting will come again. He backed away from her, heart pounding. His mind screamed to demand answers, but something inside him, fear, instinct, or perhaps buried memory, kept him silent. The room grew colder. The candles flickered, though none were lit, and as he sat on the edge of the bed, trembling, one thought refused to leave him. What happens each night that she doesn't want him to remember? And worse, did a part of him already know? The human didn't sleep the next night. He couldn't. Her words from the morning echoed in his skull. If you remembered, you would never look at me the same way again. He lay back, eyes half closed, pretending. His breaths came slow and steady, the perfect rhythm of false sleep. But inside, his mind burned with questions. The alien woman moved silently across the room, as she always did when night came. He had never seen her sleep, not once in 15 years. She lit the black candles, each one sparking with a faint violet flame. Their glow spread across the walls, and the alien runes carved into the stone pulsed with life. It was like the room itself was alive. She knelt before the wall, her hands pressed flat against the symbols. Strange light spilled out between her fingers, and her silver eyes began to glow. The human skin crawled. This wasn't just some ritual. It was power. It was something forbidden. He wanted to sit up, to demand answers, but he stayed still, forcing his body to remain limp. If she knew he was awake, would she kill him? She rose, her lips moving. The words were in an alien tongue, but the rhythm was hypnotic. It was like a song, a dangerous lullaby. And then she came to him. Her shadow fell over his body, her silver eyes soft and strange. She leaned close, whispering words just above his ear. He felt heat flood his chest, spreading through his veins, heavy and sweet, like a drug. His mind blurred. His body refused to obey. His heart pounded helplessly. Her hand pressed against his bare chest, and a surge of energy tore through him. He bit the inside of his cheek, trying not to gasp. His mind screamed, "Stay awake, remember this." But his body betrayed him. The room spun. The symbols on the wall flared brighter, and the candles bent toward him as if they were alive. He tasted metal on his tongue. His vision flashed white, and then dashed darkness. He woke the next morning to the same ceiling, the same chair, the same woman, but something was different. His heart raced as he looked at her. He remembered flashes, her glowing eyes, her hand pressed to his chest, the alien symbols burning around him. He remembered his own voice. "Don't let her know you're awake," he had whispered to himself. It was real. He wasn't crazy. He sat up, his hands trembling. On his arm were fresh marks, not scratches this time. Symbols. The same alien runes that glowed on the wall. Burned into his skin like a brand. What is this? His voice cracked. She turned her face away, her hair falling like a curtain. "You should not have seen that, so it's true." His voice hardened. "You're doing something to me every night. What is it? Why can't I remember?" Her eyes flickered with something between anger and fear. "Because remembering will kill you. Do you not understand, human? Forgetting keeps you alive." But he couldn't stop now. The memory burned in his skull like fire. Alive for what? Why 15 years? Why keep me in this room, repeating the same night over and over? What are you doing to me? She looked at him then, really looked, her silver eyes wet with something he had never seen before. Tears. "I am saving you," she whispered, "by branding me like cattle." He held up his arm, the alien symbols glowing faintly beneath his skin. She stood, her tall frame casting a shadow over him. For a moment, she looked less like a savior and more like a predator. Her voice was low, shaking. "If the others knew what I have done for you, they would tear us both apart." The air in the room grew heavy. The candles flickered, though none were lit. The runes on his arm pulsed once, glowing brighter, and pain shot through his body like fire. He gasped, falling to his knees. Her hand caught his shoulder. Do not fight it. You cannot resist. The bond is already written into your blood. He stared up at her, horror and confusion mixing with something else, a feeling he couldn't name. What bond? He demanded. She hesitated, trembling. Then she leaned close, her lips brushing his ear. Her whisper was both terrifying and tender. The bond of desire. The bond of survival. The bond I should never have given you. He froze, his heart hammering. Her hand lingered on his chest, fingers trembling as if she wanted to pull away but couldn't. Each night, I give you my life. Each morning, I take your memory. If you remember too much, it will consume you. The human skin went cold. Her words were madness, but he knew they were true. His mind screamed with one question, louder than all the rest. If she had been giving him her life every night, what else had she been giving him that he had already forgotten? The human could no longer ignore it. The flashes came without warning, shards of memory breaking through the fog in his head. He would be sitting in silence, staring at the strange runes on his arm, and suddenly he would see her face inches from his own, her silver eyes glowing, her lips close enough to touch, her whisper warm against his ear. And then it would vanish, leaving him breathless and shaken. He started to wonder if his mind was finally breaking. 15 years of half-memories, of mornings without answers, of nights he could not recall. Maybe the forgetting was not her doing at all, maybe it was something inside him. But then he caught her staring. It was different this time. She wasn't looking at him with the cold, unreadable gaze of a guardian. Her eyes lingered on his mouth. Her hand trembled slightly where it rested on the chair. The silence between them grew heavy. What are you doing to me? He asked quietly. Her lips parted, but no answer came. She lowered her gaze, her long hair falling like a curtain across her face. I see things, he pressed on. Flashes, you leaning over me. You whispering words I don't understand. Sometimes it feels like you. He stopped himself. The thought was too strange to finish. She looked at him sharply then, her voice suddenly hard. You should not speak of such things. But her eyes betrayed her. They shimmered with something she could not hide. That night he made a choice. He would not fight the sleep. He would not force himself to stay awake. Instead, he would let the fragments come. Let them burn into his mind and hold them. When darkness wrapped the room, he lay back on the bed and let his eyes close. The soft hum of the alien runes filled the air. The candles burned with violet light, their flames swaying as though moved by invisible hands. And then he felt it again, her presence beside him. Her hand brushed his face, so gently he thought he imagined it. Fingers lingered at his jaw, sliding down his neck. His heart thundered. Her voice came in whispers, words in her alien tongue. But this time, he swore he understood pieces of it. Not with his mind, but with his body. Mine, stay, belong. The warmth spread through his chest again, flooding his veins. His body trembled, not in fear this time, but in something else. Something he dared not name. He forced his eyes open, just enough to see her. She was leaning over him, her hair falling across her glowing skin. Her lips hovered above his, trembling as though fighting a war within herself. He wanted to move, to speak, to demand the truth, but his voice was trapped in his throat. All he could do was lie there, caught between fear and desire. And then it happened. Her lips touched his forehead, soft, lingering, like a kiss meant not for passion, but for claiming. The moment burned through his mind, searing itself into memory. He would not forget this. Not this time. Morning came. He jolted awake, gasping. For the first time, the memory was still there. Her touch, her whisper, her kiss. He turned to her quickly. She sat in her chair, her face pale, her hands clenched tightly together. You can't hide it anymore, he said, his voice shaking. I remember you touching me. I remember your lips. Her entire body stiffened. Slowly she lifted her gaze to his. "You should not remember," she whispered, horror in her tone. "If you keep remembering, the bond will consume you." "The bond?" He almost laughed, but his chest ached too much. "You've been hiding behind lies for 15 years. What bond?" Her lips trembled, as though she wanted to deny it, but couldn't. "A bond that should never exist between human and my kind." He stepped closer, his anger cracking under confusion. "Then why do it? Why risk everything for me?" Her silver eyes burned with emotions she tried to bury. "Because I could not stop myself." Silence stretched between them, heavy, dangerous. Finally he spoke, his voice low. "What is it you really want from me?" Her answer came like a knife against his skin, sharp and breathless. "Tonight, human, I will finally claim you." The human could not sleep. Not after her words. "Tonight, human, I will finally claim you." Those words ran in circles inside his skull, louder than the hum of the alien runes, louder than his own heartbeat. He sat on the edge of the bed, staring at the cold stone wall, waiting. The alien woman did not move from her chair. She sat silently, her silver eyes fixed on the floor, her long hair hiding most of her face. She looked almost fragile, so unlike the powerful figure he had glimpsed during her rituals. Finally, he broke the silence. "What did you mean?" His voice was low, harsh. "What will you claim from me? My life? My soul?" Her lips pressed together. She did not answer. "Tell me the truth." His fist slammed against the bedframe. 15 years you've kept me here. 15 years you've stolen my memories. If you mean to kill me, then do it. If not, then stop hiding behind your silence. Her head lifted slowly, and for the first time, he saw her eyes glisten, not with power, but with tears. "You think I have kept you alive out of cruelty?" Her voice cracked, trembling. "No, human, I did it out of weakness." He froze. "I was sent to end you." She continued, her hands curling tightly in her lap. "A human soldier, trapped on our world. You were meant to die the moment you fell into my hands. But I looked into your eyes, and I could not. I chose another path." Her silver eyes burned with shame and longing all at once. "The bond?" He whispered. She nodded. "A forbidden bond. Between human and my kind, it should never exist. It breaks every law of my people. That is why I erase your nights. If the others knew what we share, both of us would already be ash." He shook his head, trying to take in her words. "You risked your life. For me, why?" Her lips trembled as if she hated the answer. "Because each night, when I touched you, when I gave you my life to keep yours beating, I began to want more. I began to want you." The human's breath caught. The fragments of desire, the flashes of her lips near his, the warmth in his chest, they were not accidents. They were pieces of a truth she had tried to bury. But if what she said was real, then what was he now? That night, she did not hide her ritual. She lit the black candles slowly, her hands shaking. The violet flames danced higher than before, casting long shadows across the room. The alien runes on the wall glowed like molten metal. She turned to him. Her pale face looked softer, more human than ever. "You do not have to accept it," she whispered. "But you deserve to know." She pressed her palm against his chest. Heat surged into him, stronger than ever. His body arched as if lightning tore through his veins. The runes on his arm blazed bright, answering her touch. He gasped, unable to fight it. What are you doing to me?" Her face lowered close to his, her voice breaking. "Binding you, to me, to my life, to my desire. If you survive this night, human, you will never be only human again." His mind swirled. Fear and want clashed violently inside him. He remembered every whisper, every touch. And now it all made sense. She was not his captor. She was his savior. And yet, She was also his doom. When the ritual ended, he collapsed against her, drenched in sweat, his heart beating like a war drum. Her arms wrapped around him, trembling. "You see now why I made you forget," she whispered into his ear. "If you carried this truth every day, it would have broken you long ago." He pulled back, staring at her with raw confusion. "You've tied me to yourself. Why? Why give me this bond if it could destroy us both?" Her silver eyes glowed, softer now, almost pleading. "Because I could not bear a life without you, even if it means the end." Silence filled the room, heavy, dangerous, intimate. And then boom. The walls shook. Dust rained down from the ceiling. Somewhere beyond the chamber, the sound of armored boots thundered closer. Her face went pale. "They know." The human staggered to his feet, still weak from the ritual. "Who?" She grabbed his arm, the runes still glowing faintly. "My people. The guards. They've discovered what I've done. And if they reach us..." The door shuddered violently, as if something massive slammed against it. Her silver eyes locked onto his, fierce now, no longer trembling. "If you trust me, human, then be ready. Tonight, you fight with me, or you die with me." The door cracked open. Shadows spilled in. The door cracked wide, splinters of alien stone scattering across the floor. The human staggered back as the sound of boots echoed down the corridor, heavy, merciless, drawing closer. The alien woman pulled him behind her. Her silver eyes blazed. No longer soft, no longer trembling. She looked like a warrior now, her long hair whipping in the wind of the broken door. "They know," she whispered, voice like steel. "And they will not forgive us." The guards burst in, tall, armored figures with jagged blades glowing faintly in their hands. Their voices hissed in her alien tongue, filled with accusation and rage. "Treason, human filth. She has broken the sacred law." The human felt his knees weaken. He was just a man. He had no weapon, no armor, no training for this world. But then, something burned inside him. The runes carved into his arm flared with heat, glowing bright enough to light the entire room. His chest ached where she had pressed her hand the night before. The bond. The alien woman glanced at him, her eyes wide. With both warning and hope. "Do not fight it, let it flow." He didn't understand, but he had no choice. The first guard lunged. His blade swept toward the human's throat, too fast, too precise. The man raised his hand instinctively, and the blade shattered. A pulse of violet light exploded from his palm, throwing the guard across the room like a ragdoll. The wall cracked where the soldier slammed into it. The human staggered, gasping. What did I just do?" The woman's lips trembled. "You used my life. The bond has given you a part of me. Every strike, every breath, every heartbeat you take now is half mine." Her voice cracked, but her eyes shone with fierce pride. "But it comes with a price." The battle raged. More guards stormed in, their voices echoing with curses. The alien woman moved like lightning, her hands weaving fire through the air. The human fought beside her, each desperate motion triggering another surge of unnatural strength. Blades broke against his skin. Energy burst from his arms in violent waves, but each time he struck, pain tore through his chest. His breath grew shorter. His vision blurred. He realized with horror what she meant. Every moment he used this power, he was burning through her life. He stumbled, clutching his chest. "If I keep fighting, you'll die." She spun, her own blade slicing through an enemy's armor. "Better I die at your side than live without you." Her shout cut through the chaos like thunder. The human froze, the words echoing in his skull. She wasn't just protecting him. She had already chosen him, even if it destroyed them both. When the last guard fell, the room was silent except for the sound of his ragged breathing. The candles had blown out, leaving the alien runes to flicker weakly against the walls. She collapsed to her knees, her body trembling. Her lips were pale, her skin faintly cracked with lines of light, as if her life itself was burning out. He rushed to her side. "No, no, don't do this. Don't give me any more." Her hand cupped his face, weak but steady. "You finally remember now, don't you? All the nights I erased. All the touches, all the life I gave you." And he did. The fragments pieced together like broken glass, forming a whole. The kisses on his forehead, her whispers in the dark, the heat of her body against his when she thought he was asleep. The nights were real. All of them. He had not been her prisoner. He had been her secret, her desire, her weakness. And now he carried the price of it. "I remember," he whispered, his voice breaking. "I remember everything." Tears slid down her pale cheeks. "Then you know, there's no turning back." The runes on his arm pulsed again, harder, brighter. His veins burned like molten fire. He felt the bond pulling at him, demanding more, demanding everything. If he surrendered to it, he would have strength enough to tear through every wall, to fight off every enemy. But he would burn her away to ashes in the process. He looked at her, trembling, terrified. "What happens if I choose to fight with all of it?" he asked. Her silver eyes locked onto his. "You win," she whispered, "and I die." The silence that followed was heavier than any battle, and then shouts echoed down the corridor again. More guards. Dozens this time. He clenched his fists, feeling the fire inside him rising, demanding release. The human had a choice: unleash everything and save himself at the cost of her life, or resist and die with her. Either way, tonight would be the night everything changed. The corridor shook with the sound of approaching boots. Dozens, maybe more. The human stood frozen, his arm glowing like fire, his chest pounding with power that wasn't fully his. The alien woman struggled to rise, her body trembling, her pale skin cracking with glowing lines. "Don't," she whispered, gripping his arm. "Don't burn me away. Not for them. Not even to live." His heart twisted. The bond pulsed between them, a shared heartbeat that tethered their souls together. He could feel her pain, every tremor, every shallow breath. And yet, deep inside, he also felt her strength, urging him to survive. The door shattered open. A flood of armored guards stormed inside, blades drawn, their helmets gleaming with cold light. "There she is, the traitor! And the human filth she protects!" The human raised his arm, ready to unleash the fire. But she threw herself in front of him, arms spread wide. "No!" she cried. "If you release it now, I will not live through it. Let them take us." He stared at her in shock. "Take us? They'll kill us." Her silver eyes locked onto his. "Not yet. They will want answers. They will chain us. That gives us one more chance." He wanted to fight, to tear through the guards, to make them pay. But her voice, broken yet firm, cut through his rage. He lowered his arm just as the soldiers rushed them. The human was slammed against the wall, heavy chains wrapping around his arms and chest. He struggled, but the glowing runes on his skin dimmed as the metal bit into his flesh. The guards spoke, words he didn't understand, and his strength drained like water slipping through cracks. The alien woman didn't resist. She lowered her head as they bound her hands behind her back, the glowing lines across her body flickering weakly. They shoved her to her knees beside him. One of the guards, taller than the rest, stepped forward. His armor was blackened and scarred, his eyes cruel beneath the helmet's slit. "You have betrayed your blood," he hissed at her. "For a human, for an enemy, do you know the punishment?" Her lips trembled, but her gaze did not waver. "I know." The guard sneered. "Then you also know why we won't kill you here. You will stand before the council, and they will rip the bond from your flesh piece by piece." The human's blood ran cold. He didn't know what the council was, but he knew what ripping the bond meant. They would tear her life from him. They would destroy the connection, and maybe kill them both in the process. No. He shouted, fighting against the chains. You can't take her. She saved me. A guard slammed a fist into his gut, silencing him. He collapsed to his knees, gasping for air. The woman looked at him, her eyes burning even as tears slid down her face. Do not speak, human, not here. They will use your voice against you. Her words stabbed deeper than the guard's blow. She wasn't asking him to fight. She was asking him to endure. Dragged through the alien halls, the human caught glimpses of strange carvings glowing on the walls, alien watchers whispering from the shadows, children staring wide-eyed as the guards pulled him and the woman through the city. He realized then just how long she had hidden him, how impossible it had been to keep him alive year after year. And now, it was over. They were thrown into a dark cell, chained opposite each other, the glow of the runes on their skin faint but still alive. The silence was unbearable. Finally he spoke, his voice hoarse. Why did you let them take us? We could have fought. We could have escaped. She lifted her head weakly, her silver eyes shining in the dark. Because, human, if you had unleashed the full bond, I would already be gone. I would rather face their chains with you than vanish from your arms forever. His throat tightened. And now? What happens when this council tears us apart? Her lips curved in the faintest, saddest smile. Then I die as I should have 15 years ago, the night I was sent to kill you. The words hit him like a blade. He stared at her, his chest aching with something far worse than the bond's fire. She closed her eyes, her voice dropping to a whisper. But if there is even a single chance left, human, if the bond gives you one more spark of strength when they try to break us, promise me you will take it. He shook his head violently. Not without you. Her eyes opened, locking onto his, fierce even through her tears. Then take me with you, even if it's into death. The silence that followed was heavier than stone. And then, faintly, the sound of footsteps echoed down the corridor. Slow, deliberate. Someone important was coming. The human felt the runes on his arm flicker faintly again, as if warning him, as if telling him that his fate and hers was already being written. The footsteps echoed closer, slow, heavy, certain. The human sat chained to the cold wall, his arms still glowing faintly with the runes. Across from him, the alien woman knelt with her wrists bound, her head lowered, but her silver eyes burning. In the shadows, the cell door opened. A figure stepped inside taller than the guards, draped in robes that shimmered like liquid metal. His voice was calm, but carried the weight of centuries. You have defied our law, he said to the woman. You were sent to kill him. Instead, you have bound yourself to him. This corruption must be erased. The woman lifted her head slowly, her jaw tight. Erase me if you must, but leave him. The robed figure's eyes glowed faintly, cold and merciless. The bond cannot be undone without cost. If he lives, you die. If he dies, you live. Both cannot remain. The human's breath caught, his chest pounded. This was the truth she had hidden all along. He looked at her, trembling. Is it true? Her tears spilled freely now, silver against her pale skin. Yes, that is why I erased your nights. That is why I begged you not to remember, because remembering meant choosing. The bond pulsed inside him, heavy and alive. He could feel her heartbeat against his own. One life, one death, shared. Robed figure raised his hand. Energy crackled. The bond was about to be torn apart. No, the human shouted. His chains rattled as he surged forward. Don't touch her. The figure's power lashed out, but the human's runes blazed brighter than ever. The chains shattered. His body erupted with light, violet fire coursing through his veins. He staggered to his feet, his chest heaving. The woman gasped. Stop! If you unleash it all, I will. But it was too late. The bond roared like a living beast. The human moved with strength not his own, striking out. The robed figure staggered, his energy clashing with the human's power. The cell shook, stone splitting. Guards rushed in, only to be thrown aside by waves of violet light. The human fought as if possessed, every blow burning his soul. His vision blurred, but he pressed on, desperate, furious, terrified, and then silence. The robed figure collapsed, defeated, his body dissolving into dust. The human turned, panting, searching for her. She lay crumpled against the wall, chains broken, her body glowing with cracks of light. Her breaths came shallow, her silver eyes dimming. No, no, no. He fell to his knees, pulling her into his arms. Stay with me. Please stay with me. Her hand brushed his face, trembling. You remembered everything. Every night I touched you. Every whisper, every kiss. That is enough for me. He shook his head violently, tears burning his eyes. No, we can still run. We can escape this place. I'll fight the whole world if I have to. Her lips curved in the faintest smile. You already did. And now, my part of the bond is spent. Her body flickered like fading starlight. He clutched her tighter, refusing to let go. You said if I remembered, I'd never look at you the same way again, he whispered, broken. But you were wrong. I'll never forget you. Not ever. A single tear slipped from her eye. Her voice came soft, almost too faint to hear. Then promise me, human. Promise me you will live. Promise me my nights were not wasted. I promise, he choked out. She smiled once more. And then the light consumed her. The bond tore inside his chest. He screamed as her warmth vanished, leaving only emptiness. And then darkness. The human woke with a gasp. The same ceiling. The same bed. The same chair. But the chair was empty. He sat up, trembling, his heart pounding. The room was silent. No silver eyes watched him. No whisper came to greet him. For the first time in 15 years, he remembered everything. Every night. Every touch. Every secret. And the last word she had ever spoken to him. Promise me, you will live. He buried his face in his hands, his chest aching. The bond was gone. But the memory remained. The room felt colder than ever, and yet deep. In the silence, he swore he heard it, her voice faint, echoing in the walls. Do not forget me, human.